You know, because last time I was so loud. That last episode.
I mean, it's tough.
Well,
you know, when you're not classically trained, it's tough.
You shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up. Hey, folks, welcome to Who's Remain this week once again. I am still loud as fuck, but this is Who's Remain, and my name is Jared, and this is...
My name is Anthony.
Yeah, this is my friend.
We gotta go fast this week.
Wait a minute. Anyway, yeah, because, you know, I don't know. We've been playing Fallout still. I feel like I'm on the never-ending Fallout. Jangle, jangle.
Sir, would you like to buy an intelligence implant?
No.
Plants? You sell plants?
You sell plants here? Oh my god, I've been having a blast with that game. Maybe you'll see some shorts from me and Anthony's private sessions. We don't really stream so much anymore. We've been really bad about that, but Zero's supposed to be coming over to the studio today, you know.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
What were you saying?
I was just getting ready to say that needs to be my New Year's resolution. From now on, I'm gonna start recording stuff. I did do some research into how you can stream the PlayStation 3.
Ooh.
And so I'm gonna do some experimenting, and maybe we can try to get some of my footage.
That would actually be awesome.
Footage from the ghoul's perspective as opposed to the big strong.
Yeah, you don't want to just watch people get smacked and whacked and wagging it, smagging it. Fuck. Just discovered Thump Thump, and I have I have that ragdoll mod, and ooh man. You know, speaking of just like my brand, watching Zero play Crimson Desert. Yes, folks, we're going to talk about a modern game. Just sit tight for just a second, because I was very much on the fence of they don't have my brand in that game, and then fucking Zero rips out a fucking RKO in the middle of a sword fight, and I was like, my brand! Fucking dude, doing lariats, doing motherfucking German suplexes. What are we doing?
I don't know what the move was. He was engaged in a 1v1 fist fight with this knight-looking character.
Oh yeah,
and then he just did like a Naruto jump and like Hidden Leaf Village jumped up, and then he was like, he was trying to do an elbow drop from up there, but I don't think he had unlocked the chain move to do both of those together yet. But man, the combination of stuff that you can do in that game is insane. Like you said, the wrestling moves mixed with like traditional, like sword play and all of that stuff. But then he was also like doing some Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild type stuff where he was like ripping trees out and then like cutting them down to size and crafting stuff.
That's not Breath of the Wild. But him floating around.
Oh, sorry.
Him floating around is
that Link to the Past?
Well, all right.
Four Swords?
What are you doing?
We call that rage baiting in the business.
I would say so. And I'm already mad enough because we got some topics we want to get into, but
yeah, we're hot.
Whoa, did you see it?
Is that a car in the driveway?
Somebody just fucking pulled up. Hold on. Who the hell?
Hang on, folks.
Hold on. There's somebody outside. They're sitting in a car that got tinted windows. The phone's ringing. Can you get that?
Yeah, I'll get it. You keep an eye on the window.
Holy shit! It's a big car. Who's on the phone?
You want me to answer it?
I don't know. Maybe screen it because I'm worried right now.
All right, yeah. I'll send it to voicemail.
Hey, you've reached the voicemail of Who's Your Main?
With Jared
and Anthony.
Please leave a message after the beep.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Who's Your Main?
Is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more.
Yo, that car's still out there!
You want to talk about having zero tolerance for something? Try this. I'm fucking tired of influencers and streamers that have no love for a classic franchise or have no real stake in the game when it comes to, a video game story, especially one that's long lasting, that's spanned across years and years, and they're just getting into it because it's the hottest game, going on right now. I'm tired of those individuals being the reason that a game fails or even succeeds, because it's not fair, right? It's like one person should be able to dictate the kind of reviews that a game gets, right? If a streamer doesn't like a video game, they think the story's bad or the gameplay sucks, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion.
He's mad about something again.
But the fact, and they don't have a lot of power or control over this, but the fact that that game would end up getting review bombed, it's awful. And it goes for all games, right? Like, I'm a big fan of Tekken, for example. And Tekken had patches recently that overall, might not be very good, I guess, at the highest level. But because influencers and competitive players don't like it, it's not perfect. Their characters aren't, this character got a nerf. This character didn't get a nerf. This is ridiculous. This character didn't get what they needed. They should have gotten this. Or when it happens to shooters or MMOs or RPGs, whatever, it always feels like one person dictates whether one day you look at the game that's got good reviews, or it gets slammed by review bombs and it's considered garbage by the masses. And it's ridiculous. It needs to stop. It needs to stop.
Flag him down. Maybe we could get him to come inside.
I'm not going out there.
Take care.
Okay, well.
You go out there.
It's cold outside. I don't have my shoes on.
I'm going to look in a different window. They're pulling out.
Oh, there he goes. Yeah.
Repealing.
He's red assing out of the driveway. He's throwing gravel everywhere.
I don't know who that was. What's Zero want?
I don't know. I sent him to voicemail.
What's the point of having you here to answer the phone?
I'm not a secretary. Don't tell me to answer the phone.
Well, what did he say? What was he talking about?
He was talking about influencers and how they can influence things and stuff. Yeah,
and it's some bullshit. When there's like a single guy who decides? Is that what he was saying?
Yeah. Basically, review bombing games or convincing his legion of followers to review bomb games. I'm right there with him. I agree with that.
Yeah, we were getting really mad about some of that stuff recently, especially with the Maximilian dude stuff that was going on. Yeah. That stuff was making me real mad. I mean, Maximilian dude's coming out talking about Final Fantasy VII, folks, which, me and Anthony are huge fans of Final Fantasy VII. Help me to summarize this so I don't mess it up.
Yeah. So, long story short, he was doing a stream, and he kind of offhand mentioned that he believes that the original series, the remakes aren't meant to be a replacement for the original series. They're a sequel. And so, remake and rebirth and integrate and, eventually whatever they end up calling part 3, those should replace Advent Children and Dirge of Cerberus. Those games should fade into non-existence because, and they shouldn't be remade because this new ending is going to replace the old ending. Essentially, the old games were stuck in this inevitable time loop, and the new series of games is going to break that chain. Sefirot and Aerith are going to break that chain, and this is going to be the new ending, the new canon ending. And boy, howdy, did people not like that. They were pissed off that was his take.
I think he also said something, I think maybe you just said this too, but he didn't want them to remake Dirge of Cerberus. That was a Vincent Valentine game. It was a third-person shooter. Yeah. The writing was really crazy and out there. It just really wasn't that well done. And then Advent Children, which was done pretty good, and it is a sequel and a finality to Final Fantasy VII's story. But it's just like you said, it's not the good ending. And I think a lot of people who are saying things like that are probably not huge fans of the entirety of Final Fantasy, because the very first Final Fantasy game, huge spoiler here, folks, it's a time loop where the heroes lost every single time, and you're playing the time that they're going to win. So they have gone back and actually made I think prequel to that game where you play as Garland and the bad guy antagonist. I almost said protagonist. It's called Stranger of Paradise. Really need to pick that up at some point.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know. It's like you and I have been following this series since we were kids, and I am like 100% in agreement with Maximilian Dude here. I stand with him on that. I mean, without even knowing that he said those things, I already thought those things about him. Like, I don't want him to remake Dirge. I want a different ending at this point. I don't want them to re-release Advent Children as the fucking ending. Don't build me up for almost 10 more years and then fucking just plop the same shit down. Although I probably wouldn't be mad. I'd probably be like, this is the best thing ever. But I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, so real quick before I say that, I'm going to jump out here and assume that the majority of people listening to us probably haven't watched Advent Children, or if they have, it's been many, many years ago.
True.
So very quickly to get you up to speed on the movie, essentially this is taking place after the events of the game, and everybody has kind of gone back to, the reality of the world, living in a world where, quote unquote, the good guys won. They think they've won, and Aerith is dead, and Cloud and Tifa are trying to make a life together, even though they're really not happy. There's this kind of like foreboding gloom about Cloud where he still hasn't forgiven himself. And then the other big thing is geostigma is now a massive problem, which is essentially, think of it as like, I'm gonna try to be very careful with how I word this, but like think of it as like a disease that is spread through a combination of like Genova, materia, and the life stream being exposed, and it corrupts people, and it eventually leads to death. And so Cloud is infected with that. He has geostigma. And so the movie is kind of like one last hurrah of the group getting back together to stop three people who claim to be descendants of Sephiroth, and they try to resurrect Sephiroth, and then they succeed in bringing him back, and then Cloud, spoiler alert for this movie, Cloud beats him again, and essentially like sends him back into Cloud's memories, and then the ending scene is like Cloud riding back on his motorcycle and calls Tifa and is like, "Hey babe, you want to go on a date tonight?" And so like my thoughts of that movie are I have two kind of major problems with it. One is this idea that the original group never heals or moves on from the problems that got solved in the game. So, if you think about the arc of a story, the hero's journey of a story, you kind of have this upward arc where the tension is rising, all of the bad things are getting at their worst, and then like that climaxes in the final fight with Sephiroth, and then the heroes win. And when materia comes and hits the earth, the life stream is able to fight it off and push it off. Now, granted, we later learned that it took way too much out of the earth and it wasn't able to recover. But for the time being, everybody's alive, at least. And so my problems with the movie is that everybody is kind of still dealing with problems that were already solved in the game. There's nothing new presented for our characters. And then the characters that are added, the three characters that are there to bring back Sephiroth, I thought they were great characters, but they don't really fit into the universe, and they kind of add in this new idea that, I guess it's not really a new idea, but this idea that if you have a piece of Genova or you have a piece of Sephiroth, you can bring him back. And so really that's where this whole idea of like Sephiroth being able to travel through time started. And I'm okay with that if they didn't really explain it very well in the movie, I guess is my problem with it. And so those are kind of the two big qualms that I have about the movie. And then I think the other part of it too is just the dialogue is really bad. It's very clearly a Japanese movie, and then it got translated 1-to-1 over to English. And so it's very awkward dialogue for a lot of the characters. Action's great though. The action scenes are amazing. So yeah, I think the problem that people are having is, it's like, well, how are they going to deal with Advent Children? You don't need to deal with Advent Children. It's a part of the original series of games, the original story, remake, rebirth, integrate, and whatever the third one is going to be called. That's a new cycle. That's a new circle of storytelling. You don't need to include Advent Children because we've already established Advent Children. Well, this is spoilers for anybody who hasn't played Remake and Rebirth. But
quit spoiling everything.
Well, you can't talk about the story without spoiling shit. They've already. I won't say it because that is a huge spoiler. I'll keep my mouth shut.
Well, you just Rick Swined him on the fucking movie.
I know. Well, the movie, I don't care about spoiling the movie because that's a super old movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, if you want to talk about the Babadook, I'm more than happy to talk to you about.
Well, really, a couple of things here. Some people, not even some people. Zero says in his message here. I was listening to it while you were you were talking.
You weren't listening to what I was saying?
Huh? Anyway. He says in his message here, by the way, he sent me a text that said he was outside, but I told him there was another car out there. And
yeah, that was weird.
He hasn't hit me back yet, but anyway, so he was talking about how, influencers come in and they get to decide if something's good or bad. And here, I don't even think this is just Maximilian, dude. This is all of us Final Fantasy VII guys that are standing here with him being like, yeah, I agree. And I think that all those other motherfuckers out there that are still calling Aerith, are holding on to, that's nostalgia, baby. That is not a fan. That's not you being a fan of the game. That's you being a fan of the nostalgia of the game.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, that's a mistranslation.
I think there's the other big problem that I have. Obviously, those people who are hanging on to stuff like that, I'm trying to take the other side of the aisle and get into the headspace of those people who are justifying that. There's no reason to hang on to that version of the game. The words that are replaced correctly, and they're done so very tastefully. I know, the things that I'm thinking of are kind of how, the Honeybee Inn was handled, Eris being changed to Aerith, and, some of the language being changed. All of that stuff was done in service to the game. Nothing was changed to, trick you, or, I don't understand how they can be so mad. For example, I was talking to you the other day about how they're remaking Assassin's Creed 4.
Yeah.
And they just made some changes to the game, modernizing the game and bringing it up to speed. And one of the changes was Edward, the main character, he got changed from a blonde to kind of like a dirty blonde brunette character. And it's like, who cares? Who gives a shit what color hair a pirate has? It doesn't matter. That's not important to the story. Aerith's name being Aerith and not Eris, that doesn't matter. Who she is much more important than what her name is. Now, granted, her name is very important. You've done a lot of digging into this, much more so than I have. And her name is important. And so getting it correctly is important. But Eris was a mistranslation because it was being mistranslated in the dialect from Japanese to English, and the Japanese at the time, Square, just didn't give a shit about English-speaking people, and so they were like, this is what it is. That's just how it is. Now we know the importance of what Aerith means, and I'll let you jump back in here and explain why both Tifa and Aerith's names are so important.
To summarize what we did in our Final Fantasy VII Retro Replay, which we probably need to do another one. I'd like to revisit that once again. I'd revisit that once a fucking year, to be honest with you. Then you guys would be bombarded with our retro replay of Final Fantasy VII every single fucking year as we discover new things. But the main thing was how many names were taken from the Cabal. And you can look this up. I could just link. I'll just link the fucking image in the fucking description where you can see that Tifa and Aerith's name were taken from a particular section of it called the Tifareth.
Yeah.
Well, Zach's name's on there. I can't remember who the fuck else. It's been a while since we looked at it, almost a year now, probably. But that's very purposeful. Her name is very purposeful. For it to be Eris is wrong. It is fundamentally wrong because you can dive in further to an understanding of the writing of the story if you understand the mythos that it comes from. And Final Fantasy and Square Soft, and now Square Enix, have always very heavily championed real-world mythos within their works. And you can see this in every single Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VII is no exception, of this rule, where they use like Nibelheim and Midgar, and they're using other types of myth to stand their story up, so that we, as both fans of myth and modern myth, with this story, can really latch onto and understand in a more broad sense, because those stories are from other cultures, and Japan's pulling, these writers from Japan are pulling these stories from all over the world. And then we as fans of those kind of stories, can then understand what they're trying to say without them having to say as much. So I still think it's quite incredible that they were able to work in so much myth into Final Fantasy without the use of Google. I mean, come on, that's pretty fucking incredible. What kind of fucking library did they have over there at Squaresoft? Like, what kind of backgrounds did those fuckers have, to know that stuff in the fucking 80s and 90s? That's just incredible. I mean, granted, we lived it and we know, but I don't know. I'm very curious.
Absolutely. I think it's exactly like you said. I think that was just a different time period where it was much more prevalent back then to look backwards, where I think now it's much more, like the generations, the younger generations are much more likely to look forwards as opposed to us and older generations who look backwards. Like you said, not only ancient history, but more modern history as well. I think that was something that was very passionate in a lot of people at that time. And now, not necessarily that's lost, because I don't think that's true. I think that is still something that's there. But I think the focus has been much more shifted to looking forward rather than backwards. And so a lot of those analogies and those names are lost. And like you said, because we have technology, having that knowledge isn't as important anymore, because you just Google it, or God forbid you chat GPT it, and then you get something. Then you get something wrong.
Do not do that, folks.
Well, one of the other things that was talked about, and I want to hit on this too, because this was also something that Zero was talking about. I was listening to the message while you were talking.
I see.
But this idea that somebody had mentioned in that chain of tweets, somebody had thrown out there that Squaresoft should change the Final Fantasy VII name to just Final Fantasy VII, because that's the only game that they care about. And people
the fuck?
Yeah, and people were mad that it's getting a remake. It got Intergrade, and then it got another remake, and then it's getting another remake in Part 3, and there's talk about that game getting a DLC, and people from other fandoms are getting furious. The big one that I saw was Kingdom Hearts fans are absolutely pissed off that this game is getting so much attention, and Kingdom Hearts 4 has got nothing for basically 10 years. But spoiler alert, if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, get used to that. But But I don't like that idea of like my thing is suffering, so your thing should suffer too. Like when it's your time to shine, prop your game up and be like, look, Final Fantasy VII is getting a lot of attention right now. Do you know why? Because that's the moneymaker. A lot of people like and care about Final Fantasy VII. The reason why Final Fantasy VIII and IX, it took so long for those games to get a remake or get the attention that you wanted from Final Fantasy VII is because Final Fantasy VII makes money. And in order to make something, in order to make something else, you first have to make something that will make you money. And so, yeah, you do get 15,000 Final Fantasy VII remakes and movies and TV shows and Pokemon cards and, mobile games and all that stuff. It's to make money so that they can continue to make other games because that's the draw. That's where they're getting their money from. And, you can sit there and shake your fist at the cloud and be like, why isn't my game getting the attention it deserves? Why isn't, Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy IX or whatever? Why aren't they getting the same treatment? Well, when they start drawing that kind of attention and that kind of money, they will get the same kind of treatment. So, I don't know. I'm right there with Zero. I think the whole thing is stupid.
I could sit here and speculate why it's Final Fantasy VII, and it would be an opinion because I don't have sources. It's just based on the fucking 30 fucking years that I've been playing Final Fantasy games, and Final Fantasy VII has always been the one beacon to the Final Fantasy brand. And I understand that those people that are angry, just go rename it Final Fantasy VII. And it's like you're saying, it's possible that this makes money so that they can then take risks on new Final Fantasy games, because honestly, that's all they've been doing with the Final Fantasy brand is taking risks. So, I mean, an old fan like myself hasn't seen a Final Fantasy game that I've been extremely excited about until 7 Remake was announced. They've not... Like I've had some fun with Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy is always fun. They're always fun games, but they don't hit the same as they hit when they were coming out.
Right.
When they announced 8, when they announced 9, when they announced 10, like I was just like, oh my God. And I just like threw the other Final Fantasy over my shoulder. Like I want that one. And I just didn't. It's when they started doing the MMOs and they made 12, 13. I kind of missed, but I came back and played it, and it was pretty good. The introduction of the stagger system was really good. I don't want to make this a Final Fantasy retrospective episode because there's another topic I want to talk about before we reach the end here. Talking about remakes in general. Yeah, I mean, we could sit here and speculate all day why Final Fantasy VII is the one that's the moneymaker right now. And I don't think anybody should be mad about that. We should be celebrating Final Fantasy as a whole. I mean, if you're a true fan of the series, what are you mad about?
Exactly.
You have 2 cakes? Oh, no.
Yeah.
How will you eat them both? I'm just like, hell yeah. Dude, they announced that Final Fantasy IX stuff that they're working on, the books and stuff, which to me just means we might be seeing that fabled Final Fantasy IX remake. I don't know. The 8 fans might be kind of pissed if they don't get their remake, which it would need some heavy rewriting probably, but maybe they would come out and get mad like the Final Fantasy fucking Angry Birds that are out there.
Here's
fuck them anyway.
Here's the closest example that I can give, like as a non-objective and non-Final Fantasy point of view. A little while ago, it was announced that they were going to do a remake of the TV show Firefly.
Oh,
that is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. And when it originally aired, Fox they either didn't know how to market that show or they didn't want to. This was around the time of like everything had to be edgy and, about explosions, and there were already a ton of sci-fi stuff out there. That was when the Star Wars prequels were out. That was when Star Trek was really popular. There was just a lot of sci-fi already out there. And so the executives at Fox, they were like, we don't really like the writing on this. It's too slow paced. We're gonna change the order of the episodes and release them out of order and all of that stuff. And so Firefly died after 1 season. It's an incredible show. I highly recommend watching it if you can. It's a space cowboy show. That got canceled.
Yeah, you're just trying to gas up another fucking fan so that they can get let down.
Okay, but let me keep going here. So it recently got announced. Nathan Fillion was he wasn't really the star of the show because it was an ensemble cast. It was kind of like the group was the star and the ship was the star. And so Nathan Fillion, he's kind of become a little bit more of a popular actor now. And so he has been going around and doing these little YouTube shorts, knocking on the door of all of the previous cast members and being like, "Hey, we're going to get the show back in. Are you in?" And they, getting hype around this stuff. And now there's talk that this show is going to come back. And I think this is a really good example of what you were talking about with the Final Fantasy stuff, where the original show was such a small niche corner of not only like TV, but also the subgenre of sci-fi. And then you could break it down even further of like dead sci-fi shows that got popular on Netflix. And so now it's popular again, 10 years later. Have they waited too long? Is the hype dead for it? Where is the audience for that? Where is the show going to be made? And then it comes out that it's going to be an animated show. Is that going to change the perspective of it? I think all of these things that I'm talking about for Firefly are exactly what you could say about Final Fantasy VIII, where you're like, this was kind of the middle child of Final Fantasy VII, then you had 8, then you had 9. 7 is kind of the big brother who got all, he was this popular sports jock and got all of the girls and all that stuff. 8 got completely ignored and forgotten, the middle sandwich, and then 9 was kind of the edgy, the cool guy. I'm not going to play sports because my brother plays sports and all that stuff. So like, it's like, what do you do with Final Fantasy VIII? And this sounds really bad, but it's like, I don't think you do anything with it. I think you let people just have it as it is, as kind of this like nostalgic piece of history. And then you let Final Fantasy VII propped up and make all the money, and then you can have the 9 later, and hopefully 10 too. That'd be sick too. But like that trilogy right there is a really good example of you can't have everything. The resources can only go to so many things. One of the things that we talked about was the Final Fantasy VII remakes was going to be the last hurrah of kind of the golden age of Squaresoft. All of the greatest developers and producers and people that work on games, this was their last shot at not only making this game, but like making games at all. They're all going to retire soon. And so it's like, if you want to remake every single game, well, that takes time. That takes work and effort, and that's people's lives that are being poured into these stories, and you can't remake everything. You can't make everybody happy. So I guess what I'm saying is like, Final Fantasy VIII, I'm really sorry. You get shoved to the side. Final Fantasy IX, your day is coming. And then Kingdom Hearts, don't hold your breath. It's been 10 years. Wait 10 more, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Fucking Disney's involved in that shit, I'm sure.
Exactly.
But fucking Final Fantasy, it's not like Final Fantasy VIII has been forgotten. You can play a Gunbreaker in 14 right now.
Yeah.
The Gunblade and Cypher and Squall have been... They're right there, in my opinion, in the heyday of Final Fantasy, when Final Fantasy went from sword and board to future sci-fi shit with swords and magic. Like, there's guns, swords, magic. We got everything. So we had that in 6, we had that in 7, we had that in 8. They went back to the crystals in 9. I believe that was the fucking advertisement then. Then they were back to fucking the futuristic shit with fucking 10. Give us Blitzballer in Final Fantasy 14, and then they got to 13. 13 was futuristic as shit, 12,
yeah.
12 went to Evilus. I don't know what's going on there. I'm not gonna make a bunch of fucking Evilus comments right now, but it really sparked the brand. Really 6 did. 4 too. 4 had some futuristic ass shit going on, but. I don't know. Enough about whatever talking about Final Fantasy. If you guys want to hear more about that, we might have to do something about that. But what I wanted to talk about before we get to the end of the episode here, talking about remakes and things that, like we're talking about, should something get remade? Should it not be remade? And here we see Star Fox from Nintendo. They did a direct the other day, and very incredible as an old Star Fox 64 fan. I played it when it came out. I play it like, I don't know, maybe once a year. It's a pretty quick beat at this point. It's really fun. And so they remake this game 1-to-1, redo the character art and all that stuff. Finally, I feel like the team looks like they need to look like. Finally, the game looks amazing. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is an acceptable remake, because they keep trying to reboot this series, and they finally went back to the roots of it, to where it was very successful. And that's the kind of fucking remakes I want to see. And I think that this game is also already under fire, and in a similar vein to what Zero was talking about, where you've got a lot of noisy ass motherfuckers out there saying, well, he doesn't look good, Fox doesn't look good, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, shut up. It's like Final Fantasy VII fans. Shut up. You know, we got Maximilian Dude having to champion this shit. Luckily, he's got a very loud voice, and it is in the world, and hopefully he can help squash that and help people understand that those are opinions that they're having, just like he is having one as well. But for Star Fox itself, I'm really excited about it, because the remake offers a reboot to the series so that we can see more Star Fox. If this is successful, we will see more Star Fox, and I really hope that we do, because holy fuck, did they fucking hit me in the fucking gut when they were like, yo, and the N64 controller works? What?
That's insane.
What the fuck? Dude, it was like, it took me back to what we were talking about that one day, where we were like, what if you woke up one day and they were like, oh man, your old shit works. It's part of the new shit. I was like, what the fuck? I was like blinking and rubbing my eyes like, what is happening? What is happening right now? I was like, Nintendo usually don't, but now it did. Nintendo did. Nintendo. That's what it is at the end, is Nintendo.
Yeah.
Sega set up.
Yeah, the bones of Sega.
The direct. They were like, maybe we should remake fucking Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, boys. Come on. They don't need to remake this. You know, some games I don't think need remakes. They're already in the perfect state. You know, maybe Final Fantasy VIII is that. I don't know about that, actually. I'd take that back. It's got some questionable ass writing and and themes.
I think the thing that people don't understand is you don't remake good games, you remake bad games that were like a good idea, but it just wasn't fully realized, or maybe at the time the technology couldn't handle what it was that they were trying to do, and so you remake it with modern. I hate to say this, but like I know Zero is going to be mad at this, but you dump it into Unreal Engine 5, and there you go.
What are we doing? No
remake done. Like that's not what we want. We don't want that.
Oblivion.
That one I think was a good example of, that game sorely needed a new source code and a new engine. So
they didn't do that though.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like they need to do it, and they haven't done it. I think you could say that about all Bethesda games. Like the Bethesda is like beating the dead horse and dragging it behind, and be like, "Come on, Bessie, we need one more. We need one more Skyrim out of you."
If you curse Todd Howard one more time, it's gonna fuck up your fucking Fallout.
It's gonna. Boy, man, I was having some trubs with that. God. But yeah, I don't know. Like the games that need to be remade, it always seems like they never get it. And the games that don't need it, they just keep getting pushed along because those are the money makers. Yeah, like a really good example of that is kind of Sony's take on backwards compatibility, where we're not going to let you put the physical disc of your old game in and you can just play it on the new systems. No, you can't do that. But we'll make you a brand new version of the game in the new engine, and you can buy it again. And now you've got, The Last of Us Part 2. Not the PlayStation 4 edition. This is the PlayStation 5 edition, and it looks way better, and it handles way better, and the animations are better, and we added new multiplayer and all of that stuff. It's like that's great. That's awesome. That game did not need to be remade. It didn't need it. The Last of Us Part 1 didn't need to be remade. It didn't need to be remade 5 times. Same thing with Uncharted. We don't need 15 Uncharted remakes. That's not what people are asking for. Spider-Man didn't need to have the remastered edition. You know, it's like those games don't need it. The games that do need it are the crappy, like, it's just on the edge of being a really good game, but it just didn't quite have the punch that it needed. Those are the games that need to be remade. I don't know. That's my old man shouts at the sky.
We need to make a fucking list. Should have been remade or should have been remade.
Yeah.
You know what? I think Star Fox gets a fucking pass though, because they have remade it quite a few times. But like every time the series has died because of their shitty ass fucking gameplay shit that they added in. This time they didn't fuck with that shit, and I'm just like, good. You know. Like, good. They add fucking mouse control, fucking 2-player. One guy shoots the gun, the other guy drives the plane. They added fucking PvP where you can fucking do 4-on-4s as Team Star Fox. It's Team Star Fox. I mean, there's just so much shit there. The quality of life stuff is really good, and it makes me very hopeful for Star Fox. Finally, this IP should not be dead, and it has been for far too long.
Exactly.
And I really thought that I was going to sit down and see some sort of fucking Metroid Prime fucking 4 ass shit where they added some random ass fucking game element to like please some fucking demographic that their fucking investors said they had to do. I don't know if that's true. I haven't played that game. If you would like to send me a copy so I can review it, we'll drop that in the description below.
Yeah, we haven't even been swearing in the beginnings because you keep doing all these skits at the beginning of the episodes. We can't swear.
Yes, sir. That's been my ploy.
Here you go. Here's how you.
Those aren't skits. That's real.
Oh well, it's you're breaking the fourth wall here. Here's how you bring Star Fox into the new millennia. Right? They remake Star Fox 64. You get to the end of the game, and cutscene end of the game. And then it fades to black, and then it's just like a Labyrinth-style Jim Henson movie with those Star Fox characters, and then it just cuts right into like the next Super Mario movie. There you go. There's $1 million idea. That one's for you.
Millions.
Just make Labyrinth again with the Star Fox characters.
Fucking okay. Actually.
And David Bowie.
And David Bowie. Yeah. Well, he's dead.
Yeah. Well, he's back as an AI overlord.
No. Do not. I don't. Fucking losing my mind here. Fucking David Bowie. Anyway, I think oftentimes you and I are advocates for no remakes and only new. Give me something new. If I want to go back and play the old thing, I will. But we're old graybeards in this fucking hobby, and I think it's good to bring up some of the old games that were really good, that really made a series that's still going on, that young people are playing, and they don't know where it's come from, and then they have this opportunity to go and play like fucking Dragon Quest. Really great example. 1, 2, and 3. Those games made a genre. They were influenced by some really important games. I can't remember them all right now, but it's like Ultima and the Proving Grounds of the Mad King, and there's some other ones that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But Dragon Quest was the one. That was the one that blew up the JRPG fucking genre, And now you can go and you can play these 2D HD remake things that they made. Of 1, 2, and 3, the original Erdrick trilogy. You can go play them. They're fantastic fucking games. I don't know if the modern palette can handle some of the more difficult aspects of those older games, but they're there and they've been modernized, and I think that's really good. And those games have been remade quite a few times, but every time it's the aim of, hey, do you like the new Dragon Quest? Why don't you play the old one? And so we kind of see that here with Final Fantasy VII, really. But they did something new, and everybody's still fucking mad. So I just don't listen to the fucking haters on that one. Like, fucking piss off. You don't know nothing. Get the fuck out of my face with that shit. those two games that they put out for Final Fantasy VII are some of the fucking best Final Fantasy games I've seen to date. And that's hard for me to say. I'll say that now, and I may recant it later. So forgive me for being easily influenced by myself, I guess.
Well, and I'll add on top of that, because I think you and I know the dangers of remaking something over and over and over and over again, which is
Skyrim.
I was going to say Star Wars.
How dare!
The original intent of the story gets lost when you keep changing things over and over again. You lose that sense of the original story, or like when you make a story. The story is a collection of people coming together at a writer's table, and it's like, hey, I have this idea. Will this work? And then you workshop it, and we fit it in, and it's a collaborative effort. And then when you remake a game 1,000 times over, that gets lost. I think you could say that about the Silent Hill remake.
2?
Not the newest one. I think that's a separate entity. But I'm talking about the ones on the PlayStation 3 and the 360 era.
Oh yeah, the ones that got in all that hot water.
Yeah, I mean those were done as a cash grab by Konami, and we know Konami now is kind of a crummy company, but they put those out there and made changes without contacting the original creators, and they lost the original vision of the games. And then, like you said, they now came out with Silent Hill 2 remake, and it was a great game. Granted, they changed things and they made it longer, and you can argue with a wall whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing, but like every single game has to face those criticisms. Resident Evil, the remakes of Resident Evil, are those better than the original? Is it worse? Does it replace the original? Should you play the original? Every time that you make a remake, you have to factor that in. And I think the thing about Star Fox is it's been remade 4 times. So there's no progression of the story. It's just constantly beating you over the head of, this is the Star Fox story. This is what the story of Star Fox is. And it's like, we get it. But they're not doing that for us. They're doing that for the kids who watch the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and they're like, who's Star Fox? And it's, the millennial parents like, who's Star Fox? Let me bust out the 64. I'm going to show you who the fuck Star Fox is. And so it's for those people. That's who it's for, and I get it 100%. But you are also right in the sense of, what do we do after that? What comes out of this that's a positive? And I think the positive is they're bringing back old controller support, the N64 support for that controller. They're bringing back an old character who deserves to have a story revived. Whether it continues on or not, that's still, to be determined. But keep that stuff alive, Nintendo. You have these iconic characters and you do nothing with them. They're going to fade into obscurity, and I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, and Nintendo has always, I think, valued gameplay over story elements. I say that all the time as an old Nintendo guy. Has played a lot of fucking Mario and fucking Metroid and Donkey Kong, and like you normally get like a fucking intro cutscene, and then it's back to action for the whole game, and then you get a little outro cutscene, and that's it. That's been that for a long time, and Star Fox was this big cinematic experience. And as much as I hate to admit, because so many IPs are based on it, it's a fucking Star Wars fucking inspired ass piece.
Oh, sure.
And I mean Final Fantasy and whatever. But Star Wars was a fucking inspired by a tune, you would tell me. And I would say, I don't give a fuck. Because look, you're right. Star Fox has been remade 4 times, technically. And I'm really hoping this time it sticks, because, I think that the remake of that was kind of a soft reboot, N64. So the Super Nintendo one, then there was a second one on the Super Nintendo, and then they made Star Fox 64, right? And so that was kind of like a reboot of the series, and it was so good, like fucking awesome. And then they did some weird shit. They made like fucking Star Fox Assault and fucking Star Fox Adventures, which that was a fucking really weird Star Fox game, but pretty cool. You might check that out. I don't really remember fucking Command or fucking Guard. I don't really remember that. But so, like, they remade Star Fox 64 for the 3DS, which you know, as popular as the 3DS was, there was nobody there to play it. So that one doesn't count. And then Star Fox Zero, which came out on the Wii U, the few people that did get to play it bitched endlessly about the fucking use of the fucking Wii U screen for that game. And so if anything needs a fucking reboot to save the series, it's this one, baby. Come on. Come on, Mega Man X. I mean Star Fox. Let's go.
Well, they have to get Star Fox back into the public eye so that when Smash Bros comes out, they can put him in.
Oh, well, we're going to leave the folks with that because there's rumors of a fucking Smash game, and I'm just sitting there like, without Sakurai, or what are we doing? What are you doing? They're like, well, we got this Switch 2, and we need to sell some more consoles, and Super Smash Brothers is a fucking console seller. Well, why don't you make a Mario game, huh? That has Luigi, huh?
All I'm going to say is it better have Game & Watch.
It's going to have Game & Watch. You know who it's not going to have? Cloud fucking Strife.
No.
And fucking Solid Snake probably.
No,
fucking.
they're gone. Well, will they lose?
Just going to go back to the... I don't even know what the fuck.
Will they lose Banjo-Kazooie?
I don't even know, bro.
That's owned by Xbox, right?
I don't... Yeah, well, yeah. At this point, I don't even know. They should have put Conquer in there, but I don't think it would work.
Yeah.
Imagine he just starts pissing on the fucking... That's another one.
That's a great game.
That's another one. That game got remade, but it didn't need to be remade. It was on the 64, and you should play it on that because, fuck, there's nothing better than the fucking bleeps.
It was perfect.
They edited that game so perfectly. I want to play it again right now. I haven't played it in a while.
Perfectly.
Well, fuck it.
Can you, obviously, you're the editor on this. Do what you will, but could you... For the people at home, could you maybe show him the big mountain of poo that he has to fight?
Oh my God, the Great Mighty Poo.
The Great Mighty Poo, that's what it was.
Me. I am the Great Mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at you.
I was just thinking the fucking intros, when the intro stage is like, you're going around and there's this fucking bee that wants to fuck a flower with big giant knockers. I'm like, fucking God, that game was so crazy.
That's a great example of what games used to be, and that era is lost to time. Maybe for a good thing, but there's a small piece of me that truly believes that's when we were at our greatest, as not just as gamers, but as a humanity, society.
Yeah, gas was cheap then. All right.
Okay. we gotta get out of here.
We gotta go.
Cut the feed.
Folks.
Cut the feed.
We'll see you next time or whatever. Do the fucking see ya.
See ya, quick.
Fucking. I can't find the off switch.
Okay.
I'll be out of here. Oh, looks like Zero finally hit me back. Oh, shit. That was him in the car. Oh.